Hello and welcome to Look Between the Pages. My name is Brandon Foster and I am the host. And today we're going to do a book review. At the end of every book, I want to review them, and the first one is going to be Wing Weaver by A.P Beswick. Wing Weaver is a story about the protagonist, Aiden, going to a dragon academy where he is going to learn how to ride and fight and all the other stuff that you might need to do in a military that utilizes dragons. So the story starts with him entering the academy. He meets some people. Of course, he meets some people he likes. He meets some people he hates. And then there's this whole initiation into different classes, but you're not really initiated, you're born into them. There are 4 of them. You have the support, you have the scout, you have the guardian, and you have the offense, or defense and offense. I don't remember the exact specific titles. And as the story progresses, you go into those different classes, and the different classes dictate what classes you do take at the school. Eventually, you go through training and you go through the trial to get your dragon. And the story progresses as that goes. Of course, being the protagonist, weird things happen. He meets his dragon in an unexpected way. The dragon is lame. That is a large part that the author advertises, so I'm not spoiling anything. The dragon's wings don't work and she can't fly. And then, they have to figure out how to handle all of that. And of course, there's drama and intrigue. And some of the stuff I'm going to get to later, but some of it I feel like I'm not probably allowed to say if I don't want to spoil anything. So we'll see. So, review time. This book was just okay. I'll just put it that way. I will probably continue reading it. The story was interesting enough. I like to see where it goes. Maybe it'll get better. But the best way I can describe it in a very succinct way is that Wing Weaver was Harry Potter mixed with a few other things. So it felt like in so many different ways that this author really just either consciously or subconsciously just put in as many Harry Potter tropes as possible. And I don't even know if it was on purpose, but that's the way it felt. So you have the classes, those felt like the Hogwarts, different, whatever houses you were a part of. So you had houses instead of classes or classes instead of houses. There was different personalities for each class, just like every house in Harry Potter has its own kind of personality. I am a Slytherin, just so you know. And it just felt like section after section, chapter after chapter, trope after trope. It just felt like Harry Potter. There's a prophecy. There is, again, they have the person that just immediately doesn't like him based off of his class. And it felt like I was just waiting for the word mudblood to pop up somewhere. I was like, we're going the same direction. Like, this is kind of crazy that it just feels like Harry Potter with a dragon. And that was about it. So I wasn't a big fan of that. I'm fine with the school idea. I'm a teacher. I think it's great putting things into classrooms. I think that can be done very well, but I don't feel like he did it very well. The next thing I wasn't the biggest fan of, and the big thing that people look for, is characters. Who are the characters? Were they developed well? Are they interesting? I didn't really care about anybody. I'll just put it that way. Pretty quick. The protagonist, Aiden, he starts one way and he ends basically the same way, which can be fine. It can be perfectly fine if that works. If you show why they are stagnant, that might work. But he doesn't. He doesn't really show any character progression. And one of the biggest things that bothered me when it came to characters was one of the side characters, whose names I cannot remember because mostly everybody was very forgettable. Was this one dude. He shows up in his dorm room, kind of like Harry Potter going into his classroom or in his dorm room. And they're all supports because that's what he is. And this one dude pops up and he's like, we're not going to be friends. There's a high chance we're going to die. And I don't want to be your friend. I don't know why he's Southern. It just popped out. And he's like, cool, whatever. Like, it doesn't mean much. And then they like immediately become friends. I was like, okay, why? Like, nothing happens. There's no reason for them. They don't go through some trial together. He doesn't, defend him from a bully or nothing happens that would make the protagonist and this one character break down that wall. The character starts saying, we're not going to be friends because of high chance we're going to die. And then immediately they become best friends. I was like, okay, why? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. So character development wise, I think it was very lacking. I will say, at least for the protagonist, that this is supposed to be a multi-book series. So there's still chance that he develops as the book goes. But I felt that, again, he started one way, he ended that way, and there was no push at growth and resistance at growth as humans go. I just felt like that was completely lacking. Plot wise, this was probably the best part. The plot was interesting. It was not original in any sense of the word. Again, it's Dragon Rider, Harry Potter, plus How to Train Your Dragon. It's kind of basically what it was. Not original, but that's fine. Most books today aren't very original because we have so many now. So I will continue reading them. I gave it like a 3.5 on my review on Substack. I just want to get on here and give a more visual one. So if you want to read it, awesome. It might be the book for you. It has good reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. I didn't find it that great. So for other book reviews, check out Look Between the Pages on Substack, TikTok. So yeah,